Good evening, Nation's Corner family, friends, and fans. John in South Jersey here, and welcome back to Nation's Corner on Location Mania Week Series Preview. And I am joined tonight by my two partners in crime. Of course, over here, he is the world's greatest truck driver, all the way from a secret location somewhere near my secret location this evening, as he is in town for Mania Week festivities. He is, of course, my brother, Tony Justice. What's up, man?
Not much, man. I'm in your neck, man. I told you earlier, I'm in your neck. Your neck.
I knew it. I knew it smelled different around here. Anyway, and of course, joining me all the way out in Monrovia, via the Long Island Expressway. He is the one, the only Mongrovian Knight. What's up, Mike?
What's happening? And yes, I'm representing my man, question mark, from Monrovia. Karate.
So, anyway, guys, we got a cool interview for this Nation's Corner on Location series we've been doing tonight. Someone that is a friend of the show, friend of ours, has been absolutely killing it with her oh-so-witty ways on the independents, and she is coming into town this week as part of Mania Week festivities and the plethora, and I did say that right because I looked it up, of shows and things going on. Who are we talking about? Of course, we are talking about the Good Witch, the conduit of karma, the one, the only, Kaia McKenna.
What's up, guys? How are y'all doing?
Hey,
good. How are you, man?
What's up, friend? Been a minute, but great to see you.
Reunited on this WrestleMania week.
And it's so good.
There's any week to do it this week, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, how about it, man? It's the most wonderful time
It is.
of the year.
For us, at least.
It is,
I don't
man.
know about everybody else, but I'm pretty happy this week.
It's Super Bowl, Christmas, whatever great holiday you want to thought, all rolled into one. It's Mania Week, and here we are. And just start off real quick, Kaia. You're obviously you're a performer, you're a working talent here, there, everywhere, but like all of us, you're a fan as well. How excited are you to be a performer, to have this kind of these kind of opportunities, or this, basically in your backyard or a reasonable drive that doesn't require a plane? How is it? Obviously, you're excited, as all of us are as fans, but as a performer, what's it like for you to have this opportunity?
Okay, so in 2020, I was fresh out of wrestling school. Did not get to really partake in Mania Week. In 2021, I had just started actually wrestling because of the pandemic. So I was too green to partake in any WrestleMania Week activities.
Right.
And then I was injured for 2 years. So I have spent 3 years going to WrestleMania Week, shoveling up everybody else's shit, for a lack of a better term, and not reaping any benefits of my own. So this year, to actually be able to participate as an actual talent on a really awesome show, and it's like my first WrestleMania Week I'm wrestling on, and it's my first WrestleMania Week show I'm ever on, is just so awesome. It makes me feel like all that hard work I put in was absolutely worth it, because Lord knows I did so much in WrestleMania weeks just trying to find my way, right? So it's really nice to kind of finally be able to reach up and grab the fruit and enjoy it. I'm very
all those ring crews worth it. Made all those ring crews worth it. But no, that's cool, and that's kind of what we've been doing with the spotlights here. You've been doing, because of course we're all fans and we're all excited, and there's nothing like WrestleMania itself. There's nothing like WrestleMania week, as far as literally, you have people from all over the country, all over the globe coming to the area of Mania and doing shows. GCW with the Collective, I lost count how many other different independents and smaller companies are doing shows.
A whole week of shows at H2O alongside Matt Tremont, which is really awesome too, because it's kind of like a nice, very wholesome indie alternative to some. It's not like a super card. It's not like this maxed out, super packed show. I know WrestleCon on the show and like their cards are great, but I really like that they're doing that at H2O this year to kind of get to the heart of the indies, which is super nice.
Yep.
You know,
and actually they started last night and they're running running right through the Sunday. So let's talk about why, not that we always welcome you in our presence, and especially in my backyard in Philadelphia. Why are you getting to take part in this madness that is Mania Week?
I am booked on a show Saturday at noon called Thrashelvania. It is put on by my podcasting partner at PWI, Kevin McElvaney, in honor of his wife, Megan Thrash, who passed away from cancer. And, she always supported him in wrestling. She grew to love wrestling herself. And we all just want to come together and support Kevin and Megan. Yeah. And to me, like, for that to be my first WrestleMania show, and that's what I'm a part of, is just extra special, it's for a good cause. And it's for a good person, for good people. And at the end of the day, like, you always want to be there for good people. You want to be a good person. You want to support good people, and you want to uplift good people. So.
And just something I wanted to point out on that real quick. Folks, when you go to that show, you're not buying a ticket. You are making a donation.
You are absolutely making a donation.
And I thought that was a very neat and unique way, and a very cool way to present that part of the show. Considering it's for Megan and
absolutely, all of the proceeds will benefit the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation. Did I probably butchered that? And I am so sorry.
We'll take
I am not medical. I went for art. I believe that is the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation. I can provide you guys with the link, because I would love, even if you can't come out to the show and support us, it would be so great if you could donate a little bit and support the cause. I know there are performers on the show who have donated their booking fee back to the cause, which I think is really, really awesome.
Very cool.
So anything you can do to support, even if you can't make it out physically to the show, you can watch it on IWTV and donate to the stream as well. So please do that.
Perfect. Do you know who your opponent is?
Supporting Megan and Kevin.
Yes, absolutely. And Kevin's been a big fan, big supporter for many, many years in my experience.
Yeah, he's the man. He's great.
Especially with the independent scene and through his writings at PW. A fantastic guy with such a. It's nice though. We're getting a bit of a silver lining out of some very sad tragedy, especially with Megan. And for him to give back and think of to do something like this, I think is very cool. But who's your opponent? Do you know? Do you care?
I am tagging with Ram Kai Chow against Eva Vaughn and Ava Everett. This will be a good little tag match here. And I'm excited to kind of get in there with Ram, because I know she's kind of got her own little spooky powers going on.
Yes.
And I think that when we can combine them, we're just going to be unstoppable.
That's what I was kind of thinking. I'm like, can we mix powers here, or
absolutely? It's all energy. It all feeds off of each other, right?
Because my other thought was,
all the powers aside, Ava and Viva are very formidable opponents.
Yes,
they're both very accomplished wrestlers in their own right. Have held multiple. Wrestled everywhere.
Literally
Viva's
everywhere.
In New Japan right now, and Ava just had a match on Impact. So they're definitely very formidable opponents, and it's going to be tough. But I'm curious to see what magic Ram and I can pull out of the bag.
Well, that was my thought. Either this is going to go very well mixing magic, or we're going to have a Ghostbusters Crossing of the Streams thing where it might not go great. But we're going to go with it's going to be good. You're going to have very good magic and combined forces to defeat those. But the other thing is new gear. Did we?
I've been on a gear making kick lately.
We know that, and out there with everybody watching and listening, Kaia has and always probably will until her hands say no more. Made her own gear, and I believe is that the new one?
That is the newest one I made. Yes.
Okay.
Nice and tan. Just came back from vacation. Now I'm washed out under this light. Look at that. That is natural. Of course, absolutely fitting for Kaia. That is 100% natural sunlight, no spray involved. No, I can't spray tan. I'll turn orange. It's not allowed. It's so bad. I'm like an Oompa Loompa. I know better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the gear I just made. That is the gear I just made. So,
That's awesome.
Very excited for it.
Cool.
I like the dark colors. I'm usually like a babyface good witch, but I really like the dark colors and how they look, and I love how like powerful and bold they are. So I'm very excited.
I mean, nothing for nothing. One of the greatest Chuck Norris movies of the late 70s, early 80s was Good Guys Wear Black.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I always try to like draw upon different inspirations for my gear, just like things I like, things I enjoy. I've done like a lot of like goddess inspired gear. I've done like Selene, the moon goddess. I've done Mothra. I've done like Kawada, like silver and leopard print gear from when he first got in over in All Japan. It's like I've done all kinds of things, and I just have many hyperfixations outside of wrestling. If you guys can't tell, it just and something I've always really, really liked was Star Wars, and we finally got to go to Galaxy's Edge recently, and I was just so inspired, and I was like, why don't I do some Star Wars gear? That would be cool. I mean, people do superhero gear, people do gear for football, favorite football teams. I mean. Marvel, I've seen a million Spider-Man gears in my day, right? So I just wanted to change it up and do something fun and different, and just always kind of keep the wheel turning, the creative wheel turning.
Always.
Awesome.
And you always nail it, always knock it right out of the park.
Well, you know, and it's also it's very fitting. I'm the conduit of karma. I am the balance, right? And like I'm not the dark side or the light side. I bring balance to the force. So
right.
why would I not
Now you say conduit of Yeah, you say conduit of karma, not good karma or bad karma. You just say karma. So the karma could go either way, because I seen, did you threaten LSG? You go and turn him into a newt? Or have you turned him into a newt yet?
I did. I'm just very disdainful of men, and I just want any reason to turn any man into a newt.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm married 35 years, so I'm not that much of a man left anymore. So.
I thought it would be cute, you know, and I recently just went shopping, and I have the cutest little habitat that I have constructed for him because I don't want him to be homeless once he turns into
Man, screw him. Give him a shoebox. Give him like some old shoebox.
Yeah. Oh, that wouldn't be very nice and good of me now, would it?
No, we are talking about LSG.
I got him that little leather couch in my promo. That's a real leather couch.
That's nice.
Isn't that so nice?
Yeah,
the dude is going to be living better than us. I ain't got a leather couch.
That's true. I don't either. But one other thing I want to touch on.
Better, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll adjust just, but he won't know the difference. He's got a mouse-sized brain anyway. So,
as opposed to
you also after we get out of this madness that is Mania Week and everything, you are making a debut.
Yes, at Victory Pro Wrestling in Long Island.
Yes, part of their what is it, Mike?
Blood, Sweat, and 18 years. It's their 18-year anniversary. The really cool and awesome John Radio, his promotion, Victory Pro Wrestling. It's a really great independent promotion around here in the tri-state area, and you're going to be facing off against the unwilting Tatiana for the Victory Pro Women's Championship.
New champ?
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. I know she's held that title for a while, and she has certainly overcome some odds as champion.
She does manage to overcome the odds, even when other people come in and interfere. That's what happened last time, right, Tom?
Yes.
Maybe she's having a little bit of a crisis of faith lately, so we'll see. We'll see if I can capitalize on that.
She might. You didn't hear it from me, but the right arm.
Oh yeah, well my right arm ain't great either. So
okay, so you both learned to throw some lefts. Then there you go.
You know what? So I am 5'9" and 170 pounds of witch, and I can throw this witchy ass around left and right and demolish opponents. I don't need to punch them. I can just body people. Like I have no qualms about using my size advantage.
Haven't seen it in person many times. It is very effective.
Yes. And
you guys know what a hit stick is, right? I got a great hit stick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Called a broomstick.
Yes.
Like Larry Fitzgerald, but witchy.
Yes. Works so well. So let's get back to Mania Week for a second. Let's put the fan hat, put on your fan crown. What obviously, all right, the one question I have been asking everyone, Roman or Cody?
I want Cody to finish, but I feel like it's going to be Roman. I feel like Roman's going to pull it off.
Okay. All right. And also, Gunther or Sammy?
Oh, man, I'd love to see Sammy win. I would love that. Especially, like, going to so many Ring of Honor shows growing up. Like, I would love to see him do his family crowd here.
Yes, and that was that. I was hoping you'd say that because just one time. Now I'm calling upon you as my friend and the possessor of such witchy powers. Can we get the mask one more time? Just one more time. Can we have Sammy put the mask on? Please.
I don't think so. I think that like he retired, didn't he? Didn't El Generico like retire?
He's back to he went back to the orphanage and
yeah. You know, honestly, like I think that El Generico has run his course, and we can all appreciate and respect that. But I would love to see Sammy get his flowers and pull that win off.
Yes. All right. If you won't help me out on that, help me manifest this. Just like some like random backstage promo after all this, Sammy's like got his hoodie on, and he's digging in the pockets or something, and he just pulls the mask out and like kind of looks at it, and they like, what's that in your hand? Oh, I don't know, nothing, and puts it back.
But is it necessary though? Like, is it necessary? I don't think it's necessary to tell a good story here. I think you have a good story with Sammy and Gunther, you know. But
they can do that at any time, I guess. Not necessarily with Gunther and stuff, but like I said,
well, last year they had the triple threat, right? It was Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre,
right?
And that match was really, really good. I was there for that in LA, and I was like, man, I think this might be the best match of the weekend. Like, so I'm really excited to see Gunther and Sammy because I knew, like, I saw what Gunther could bring to that big stage last year. And
he did not.
I'm hoping that it's a very hard hitting, very intense, very beautiful match.
Well, and it being WrestleMania, you kind of, regardless of how you think they're going to end up or who's going over or whatever, you know, all the matches are, at least on paper anyway. You look at Sammy and Gunther like, ooh, that's a good match.
It's a good wrestling match. Yes.
Yes. You know, you look at the recently incredible Hulk carnivore diet AJ Styles versus LA Knight. That's going to be a good match. You know, you look at it that way, so you know the matches are going to be fantastic, and how they tell the stories of them up until this point have been very good, and now we get to finally see them play out in the ring this Saturday and Sunday. Of what we know of the cards, what's the one you're looking forward to the most? And Cody and Roman, and or Cody, Seth, and Rock Roman not counted.
I'm going to have to say Gunther and Sammy then. Like, I really want to see this match.
Yes.
It's right up my alley. It's the kind of wrestling I like.
Poor Sammy with that ginger, pale skin of his.
I'm curious to see the ladder match, though. I really want to see the tag team ladder match. I feel like there are a lot of very creative minds in that match, and there's a lot of toys you can play with. And I love seeing a good like plunder match with the right brains in it. So I am excited to see that too. Like obviously everybody wants to see the main events, but I'm excited to see that ladder. Was it 6 tag teams? I think that's gonna be a lot of bodies.
And it's both titles. Like, but the match isn't over till both titles have been.
Oh wow! See, I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool. I like that.
They could be 2 champions. They could both retain. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm looking forward to the dark match for me that nobody's been talking about. It's not a dark match really. It's Bailey and Io. That's gonna be a good match too. They really have some good matches lined up this year. I'm excited. I'm gonna try to go one of the nights. I haven't like bought tickets. So here's what I do: is I never buy tickets. I always go, and then like I go to StubHub and I buy like a $40 ticket that I never actually go sit in the seat, and I just like walk around and like see.
Well, if that doesn't work out for you, get with
sneak in the back with your gear.
Oh my god, no.
Hey, you got to be ready. You never know.
But like the other thing is like it's probably gonna be cold, and like I don't want to be cold. And I know that's like such a little baby thing to say. Like I don't want to be cold, but it's like I don't want to sit in the lake freezing my ass off.
Well,
they go to the go to the tailgate party and get yourself a robe from Dustin Open.
I got a robe. It's got sparkles all over it. It's beautiful. There's that robe, a witchy robe. Why do I need a different robe? I can't wear my witchy robe. Is it
it's not pink.
It's a Cody Crybaby robe, though.
It's not a pink robe.
Yeah, we're watching WrestleMania at the ECW Arena both nights. They're having a watch party there.
Yeah.
So, if you get too cold, you're welcome to come to the ECW Arena and chill out with us. So,
well, I'm doing an Aja Kong seminar on Friday at the Worldwide Dojo, which I'm very excited for.
Very
honestly,
cool. Nice. That's very cool.
What a great opportunity to learn from a legend. Sometimes, you learn a lot wrestling and having matches, and like that's obviously good for your career. But I really am a huge fan of a good seminar. I have learned so many helpful things in some of the seminars I have done, so I'm very excited to do the one with her.
Very cool. Very cool. Is that talent only, or is it okay?
Talent.
No, that's cool. Cheeseburger always does good stuff over there.
Dude, he's the man.
He is.
Cheeseburger's the man.
He absolutely is. I enjoy anytime I get to see him or either see him perform or just see him in and around at shows. He's always a good time and always has a good story.
His matches are always very entertaining. Like he's a phenomenal wrestler, but he's such a good storyteller too. Like he can definitely get you interested in what's going on.
And the one thing is, he's been doing it so long. He is an equal version of R-Truth. He is ageless. He's still, he can do anything, anywhere, anytime, any part of the ring. After all these years, like I say, he's still truly a joy to watch. And yes, he is so entertaining. It is very, very, very cool that you get to be part of that. And then that, and I had a thought in my head, and it just left me. And
it's all good. I love people that can like make you want to see a match, and like Cheeseburger is one of the people who's very, very good at that.
Yes.
It reminds me of boxing almost, like when you want, like they would sell you on the fight. Like there was a reason you turned in to see Mike Tyson fight,
right?
And I feel like sometimes in wrestling, especially nowadays, there are so many people that are just such physically gifted, like specimens of athletes, but they're not giving us any reason to like watch them. They're not selling the fight. And I've always just personally enjoyed wrestling so much more when I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to see that. Like they've made me want to see this. I want to see what happens. And there's power in that. And there's power in creating that investment. And it doesn't even have to be this big, elaborate, like finishing the story type storyline, right? Like you can create a little bit of interest in a match with something as simple as me turning LSG into a newt, right?
Right.
But that's what I think is just missing these days. Is just like people selling the fight, maybe not like the literal fight, but like just giving you a reason to like pay attention to what they're doing. Because like, everybody can do everybody can do everything these days, but it's like everybody can generally do everything or anything. Like, and every wrestling show has somebody that can do all the things in wrestling that are done. And it's like, well, then how do you stand out? Like, how does your show stand out when you're a promoter? How do you stand out as a talent? Like, how are you just not another body out there doing something that it was trained to do?
Right.
Like, how do you build that connection, and how do you sell fights to people? So that's something I've kind of like gotten really into like researching lately, is just like how boxers would sell fights in the 80s and 90s. And like if there's any kind of parallel into professional wrestling with that.
Well,
maybe this is just me having like another hyperfixation moment where it's very meta and no one cares.
It's no secret, I guess, but a secret that UFC, especially in the past 5-10 years, with some of the people involved in it, your Ronda Rousey's, your Brock Lesnar's, even your Conor McGregor's, are they? Oh, we're not pro wrestling. Fuck you ain't. You're stealing every little bit you can from pro wrestling.
I mean, we could go down a rabbit hole with this.
We could, but you did remind me. Yeah.
There's too much money involved in pro sports these days.
There is, but you did remind me what I wanted to discuss with you and get your viewpoint on as a performer.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, wrestling has never been hotter.
Dude, it's so hot. I'm not sitting around waiting to watch wrestling once a week. It's on every week. I can't even watch all the wrestling that comes on.
You're right. It's a struggle trying to keep up with everything, and everything is so good. And we're seeing that from the highest levels, from your AEW, WWEs on down through your smaller promotions, down to the to the smaller venue, smaller promotions and the independents. Everything is up. Are you seeing that, especially at the independent level?
I'm seeing a lot of oversaturation at the independent level. I think that wrestling is more prevalent and more successful than ever before, but there are so many people that are just throwing it away. They're just doing it to do wrestling, just having a show, to book people on a show and have one. Like, I would really like to see, because wrestling is so hot, like, people just kind of not throwing it all away, like not just whoring wrestling out, right? Like, really, I know it's horrible to say, but I really like, and circling back to the selling of weight. There's so much of it, and because there's so much of it from the top all the way down, it's so easy to just get like just overstimulated by it. It's too much, and people can't consume all of that content, right? They cannot possibly consume every show, every pay-per-view, every indie show. They can't, like, ticket prices. Fans can't attend every indie show they want to attend to, because most indie prices are like $40 these days. Like, that's a sign that wrestling's doing really well, right? And that's good. I'm glad people are making money. But it limits what people can consume, because they can't consume it all. So how do you make yourself and what you're doing, or your promotion, what people want to consume over everything else?
Right.
And how do you have the best dish at the buffet? It's like when you go to Golden Corral, how are you the steak everybody waits in line for, when you have literally all the other options, I would just like to see more people in wrestling figure out how to, like, make their content desirable and make themselves and their promotions stand out, because we do have everything. It is a buffet. Literally everything is out there now, 7 days a week. So how are you special? How are you different? And I think that'll be the big question that independent wrestling is faced with as it moves forward the next couple of years, is like, how do you stand out? How do you trudge through the mud? How do you set yourself apart from, like, everyone just who's doing everything,
Right. Well, it's, excuse me, it's funny, up and seemingly from what I see from going to shows and stuff, and my seat as the fan, it's almost like, indies was the indies. You booked a show, you got a bunch of talent, and the booker or the promoter would sit in the back with you. All right, who's here? Oh, okay, Kaia, you and her, or you and him, you two, you're a tag. You're going to go against, well, when the other one gets here, that person, and then you guys do a match. You figure it out. It was just kind of just thrown together, and
like, it's not still just thrown together. Like, you mean to tell me everybody's, like, super smart and planning everything out these days? Because I don't think that's happening. I still think a lot of shit is just thrown together. To my point, the people that do put that effort in to tell stories, to create investment, that they're trying to do something with some continuity, those are the promotions that stand out,
right?
Because they're not just throwing stuff together, right? Like, even
you're making my point for me. You just made my point for me that in this climate now, because wrestling is so hot, because it's so prevalent. We went from basically 20 years of one thing on TV, and that was WWE, to now, like you said, you could literally spend hours upon hours every day, 7 days a week, between, what's on TV, what's on streaming services, what's on the wrestling streaming services. You can, literally, you could literally put yourself into some sort of a coma watching wrestling. Not to mention all the
interesting, because I feel like it's so hard to get, like, the live audience these days with so much wrestling, right? Like, to get someone to watch your show live is very difficult because there's TV wrestling on every night of the week now. That's always going to be a competition for independent wrestling. But it's like, how do you make people go back and go, oh, wait, I really did want to see that Sammy Gunther match. Let me go back and watch that. I feel like there's going to be equity in that, too, is like having something that people, like, want to revisit, even if they can't see it in the moment at some point. Almost like that, like, archive, right? Maybe video on demand will get real big again.
Yeah. I'm just the old guy. I'm old school. I go to all the shows live. So
I feel like I've seen more wrestling live lately than I've watched on TV. Like, I used to be really good about watching the shows every week, or if I was out at Black and Brave, I would see, we watch all the shows the next day because Colby has them on the TV at the gym. But like in my own time, I feel like I've not really watched a lot of TV wrestling lately, and most of the wrestling I've seen has been like in person at the shows. And it's not even that I'm watching the wrestling, but again, something I've really tried to focus on for myself this year is like watching how crowds take in wrestling. Not like what people in the ring are doing. Like I know what people do in the ring. I've seen it a million times now. But like
I would hope so at this point.
How audiences respond to what's happening in the ring is very interesting to me. And like what people like gravitate toward, what makes people look up versus what makes people like go into their phone, right? Like how many times you see somebody just sitting there like so
that's a great point because
I love watching how people watch wrestling.
While you're in your match, you're listening to how the audience is reacting to what you and the other talent are doing, and you adjust accordingly sometimes. Am I correct?
I mean, it depends. Some people are better at it than others. I mean, they're like, it's wild. Sometimes when it's really loud, it's not even that you hear things. It's like a feeling, like you feel like, I'm going to sound witchy, you perceive the energy around you, right? And like that can kind of help you set the pace.
It's an aura.
But like, it's again, it's like, are you out there wrestling for yourself or are you wrestling for fans? Like, are you wrestling to make other wrestlers happy or are you wrestling to make kids cheer or boo? Like, what is your purpose? Are you a person of conviction? Like, why are you here? If you're just here to like do wrestling for yourself and for the boys, like, okay, that's cool. But I don't think you're going to get nearly as much out of it as someone who's like really working on making a connection with the fans. Right. And like, that's the key is like seeing how people are interacting with what's going on. And that's how you build those connections. It's like, oh, okay, people like this. Oh, they didn't like that. Oh, that made people look up. Oh, these guys over here, they really want somebody to just yell at them right now. That's all they want. Like, it's almost like if wrestling's a concert and, I'm the lead singer and everybody's singing the song and we get to the chorus and everybody knows the chorus. And like, instead of me singing it, I stick that microphone out in the crowd and I'm like, sing it with me. And then that's like the wrestling equivalent of that is like making the crowd feel involved in your match, right? Like wrestling is like a concert.
It's a rock and roll show. Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
That's a great point. I
just tried to look at wrestling through different lenses this year and different perspectives and like seeing how it compares to things outside of wrestling. Because like it's very easy to get like a one-track mind and just only think of wrestling. But then think about how like other people perceive wrestling, how other things influence wrestling. Is there stuff that's happening in other spaces that you could bring into wrestling? Just trying to get out of the box of wrestling, just expand it a little bit.
Like as things happen, as you perceive them and see what's happening, how people react to certain things you say or do, it helps you to add more layers onto the character you're trying to portray.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, you should always be like learning and adapting, and there's so much more to it than what you physically do in the ring with your body. Like, so I've just tried to delve into all the different little components lately. Well, hopefully it makes for a good 2024. We'll see.
As the card carrying member of the Good Witch Club, seeing your very first wrestling match.
Oh my gosh, yes, you did see my very first wrestling match
in a park. But
oh my God! Pandemic.
Yes, we've been through that story, but and I, even when I talk to newer or younger wrestlers now, I'm like, look at what Kaia McKenna is doing. If you're looking for ideas or things, look at what Kaia McKenna is doing. She, no matter what, everything is on point with what you do. The persona. The character, the gear, everything works. I'm giving flowers where they're absolutely due. I'm giving flowers.
I know that wrestling isn't kind to a lot of people, right? A lot of people in this business have a very rough run, and it takes more than it gives. But I started during a pandemic. I was a little slow on the uptake. People were not necessarily nice to me. I got told I sucked a lot. And even like the brightest of spirits, like that can kind of weigh on you after a while.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Especially when you're new, like, of course you suck. You're new. Everybody sucks when they're new. It's just how it is. And then I got injured, and then I got re-injured, and then I had a less than stellar comeback. And toward the end of 2023, I was just not really enjoying myself doing professional wrestling anymore. I was very upset. I was not in a good place with it. I felt very disheartened that something that I loved and cared so much about had been so cruel to me. And I really was like, man, do I want to keep doing this? Because like I could just go work my regular job and like to hell with all this, you know? And I started changing my perspective. I started working for some different promotions, and I was really, really grateful to get to work for people like Matt Griffin at Action and KLD at WrestleMax and Colby Carino at PWF. And these people who really helped reinvigorate my love for wrestling and encouraged me to have fun and really find myself in this business. And I am so grateful that I have been able to have those experiences, because it has, like, I enjoy wrestling again. It's fun. It's fun for me. And I think wrestling should be fun. So I'm just really glad I'm finally, after all the trials and tribulations, in a really good spot. And I'm very excited about my WrestleMania match this weekend.
That's good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get all like little guys there, but
hey, you know, be expressive. You know,
that's good.
I'm a fan of no matter what the emotions, say it with your chest. If you don't,
you just gotta stay the course.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's such a wonderful thing to hear, because you know, and as someone that has been on the ride with you since the beginning. You know,
you've seen it all. You've seen me get like kicked and stomped and mushed down into the dirt. Like,
and I'm like,
you
know, and I've been to shows, especially with you, and watched your matches where I am literally the loudest voice in the room. You know,
I always appreciate your support, John.
And
you know that.
And you know, and I'm like, I almost want to get to the point, and I would never really do it. I might now, just because I'm older and crankier, but you know, I want to grab people like, what do you put the fucking phone down? You know, watch the match, watch what they're doing in here. And
it's hard for people to be present in general, let alone, it's just not a wrestling show. I mean, Jesus, have you ever been out to dinner with people and they're in their phone the whole time? It's not just a wrestling product.
Listen, people are at their kids' recitals or plays. They, you know, it's stuff that they're only going to see once, and they're looking at it through the lens of an iPhone as opposed to keeping it there, camera down, and watch your kid live and cherish that, you know.
If I had to give a little piece of witchy advice to people, it's like, just put your phone down and try to be more present. Like, just really try to just go sit outside and just close your eyes and just like listen. Like, don't be stimulated by anything. Like, you know, listen to the wind in the leaves and the birds and like the dog walking on the rocks in the driveway or whatever. Just be able to pull out these individual little sounds of things that are happening around you and just give your brain a rest. Like,
touch some grass.
It's wild to me because
some grass.
You know, it's just it's an inability to focus is what it is. It's like we can't focus because we're so used to being constantly like stimulated by our cell phones, by our TVs, by our iPads, by our whatevers.
Right.
And like for me, someone who's a magic practitioner, like being able to focus is very important. Like if I can't turn my brain off and just really focus on what I need to do for my incantations, for my intentions, for my spells, like I might as well just not fucking do it, because if you're not focused, it's not doing anything, right? Like you need to be able to like be in control of your mind and your thought process and your reactions and how you're perceiving your environment. And when you're constantly just stimulated by like screens, like technology and Twitter notifications and validation and other people and whatever they're doing, like it is the most freeing thing.
The dopamine.
Just be with yourself for a little bit. Like it's great. Trust me. Like, and don't feel guilty about it either.
Oh, I never did.
You can't.
I have told many people, and I'll tell you because we haven't really had a chance to sit and talk about it much. But the time I was in the hospital, between my first time I was in and the second time when I lost my leg, that was like the best 2 weeks for me. Obviously not physically, I'm laying in a hospital bed with one less appendage, but mentally it was the best time for me, because I was removed from all that. Yes, I had my phone and stuff with me, but I was perfectly content to just kind of sit there and lay in my bed and
Oh yeah,
sit in my
love to lay around. It's
yeah,
great.
just and it wasn't even like, oh, well, I'll get up. Oh, wait, no, I can't get up and go for a walk or anything. I only have one leg, and it was before obviously my prosthetic and everything.
He must have had a hot nurse giving him sponge baths.
I don't know. No.
He's like, look,
No.
I know that's like the stereotype brother, but I'm gonna be real. That was not my experience.
To be completely fair, any and all the nurses that I've had through this whole deal have all been absolutely wonderful people, and they do absolutely amazing work. But that stuff only lives on Pornhub and really nowhere else. Really, honestly, and I was.
There's a lot of stuff where I'm like, like in the real world, this isn't.
This isn't.
Ideal. It's not how it is.
Trust me, that girl that's splashing you under her scrubs is not really a nurse.
I just had major surgery, bariatric gastric bypass, and 4 weeks ago now. It's 4 weeks, so yeah, I'll attest that the health, the people, the nurses, and all the assistants in the hospitals are top-notch people.
Oh, and, yeah, I could not do that job. I have so much respect for healthcare workers. I have respect for healthcare workers, teachers, firefighters, police officers, anybody who's dealing with the public sector in that capacity, because I just know that I'm not made for those streets.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for people that are basically civil servants to an extent. They're taking care of other people in some capacity.
What they do is not to get it's the Lord's work. It really is.
It absolutely is amazing.
What they put
up here wrestling and making pictures. What do I know? But yeah, I do think there's something to be said amazing too. So
right.
I do think there's something to be said for all of us just being able to take a step back and just, I try to work out outside when I'm out at Black and Brave. I try to work out outside in the parking lot every day just to get out of the building, get out from in front of screens and just get some fresh air. And it's so good for you. Don't be a house cat. Go be an outside dog.
Well, that's advantageous, especially out there. You're in Iowa. I mean,
it's hot.
It's hot.
Pretty hot in summer. I'm not gonna lie.
Not I mean, it's kind of nice, but not a whole lot out there. But that's another thing. But yeah, that the time I spent in the hospital was just for me to get inside my mind and figure things out. And I won't go into a whole ton of details, but of course, with them taking my leg off and stuff, there were emotional people and counselors and this, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm, my head's straight,
right? Because I've talked about this with my own injury. We're so focused on healing physically, we forget to heal mentally from something that happened to us that was a very big trauma and a big emotional wounding. That's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
So it's good that they have those support systems in place.
Yeah.
And again, like I tell you guys, now you know why I've hung steel for 23 years.
That's why I work from home.
That, if I could, I would.
Yeah, I definitely put that quote tweet out the other day. Effie did the tweet, wrestling changes people, and I'm sure you saw a bunch of people.
Yeah. Yes.
And I found a picture from when I used to just literally work in an office, and I looked like a librarian. And I one of my wrestling promo pictures on. But it's 100% true. I don't think I could ever go back to working in an office. I love working from home. I love the freedom, the ability to touch grass, to walk my dogs, to go outside and get some fresh air. It's so good mentally for you. And then if you are working and something's ridiculous, you can just be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You can't do that in the office. You have to be like, I'm a little confused.
Besides, that librarian gimmick is taken up already. There's someone walking around with that librarian gimmick. So
there's a few of them, but
yeah, it's one of those things where I'm unfit to be in. I'm truly unfit to be in an office.
Well, you and I have talked before, not in interviews, it's just talking. It's finding your spot, finding your space, finding where your place is, and hey, congratulations, you got it halfway licked. You found that. And
it took me a while. I mean, I'm 34, so I didn't have it in my 20s. I had no balance. I was not very happy. I'm very happy as a 34-year-old, though.
There you go.
I feel like that's how life kind of goes. Like, you spend your 20s trying to find yourself and figure out like what your role in this world is and what your purpose is and what makes you happy. And then like you do kind of maybe start to figure that out a little bit once you're a real adult in your 30s. And you're like, man, I wish I could know what I knew in my 30s.
Why? Oh, I have that conversation with myself daily, and I'm way past 34. But you're right, and I think that
I can't imagine. So this is something that's really interesting to me, right? Like when I was 19, there wasn't a ton of opportunity for women to get into wrestling, and now it's like you could be literally in high school and going to wrestling school as a woman, and then graduate and be like working on the independents as an 18, 19, 20-year-old woman, and it's like I don't know about you. I was dumb as hell when I was like 18, 19 years old. You couldn't tell me anything. And I just can't imagine, because like this is a very difficult business to navigate for any person. You know, and I think that having an adult brain has helped me a little bit. I cannot imagine trying to navigate this business as a girl who's like under the age of like 22. Like it is just... It is a lot. Like my hat's off to those girls, because that's a lot to take onto your plate at that age. And I think it's great the opportunity exists, but oh my God, I can't imagine that. Like think about how like dumb we all were when we were 19, and then you're in wrestling. Like that's a lot. Like it's impressive. It really is impressive.
Yeah. I like, like Tony just said, and the other name that comes to my mind automatically, you have Izzy Moreno and Billy Starks.
Yeah.
We interviewed Billy Starks. It was like her first month of wrestling.
I love that though. I love that there's that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Get like really bitter about it though. Some people are very bitter and they're very angry, and it's like, okay, I get it. Like I would have loved to have done that when I was 19 or 20, but like I'm not angry or bitter about it, because I think that my adult brain has value in this business.
Sure.
And I also just love that it's accessible to women in a way it wasn't before. Like, we're all still here and we're all still a part of it. And that's something to celebrate, that more women can get an entry point into wrestling easier.
You know, and this one last point on those two quick, especially in Billy Starks and Izzy Moreno's case, they have wonderful support systems.
Yes.
Especially I'll put them on a pedestal. Izzy's parents, Cody and Jenny, are amazing people, and they are shrewd, but they are letting their daughter be a kid and also navigate this business and stuff. And they are fantastic people.
And they also are not these beauty pageant parents. They're not pushing them. This is all that kid, and that kid is smart. And, has a nose to the grindstone. And Billy Starks is like, multilingual. She's been to Japan already. I mean, come on. That's just everybody.
I'm 52 years old, never been to Japan. This girl's going to...
I know, really.
17.
I'd be lost. They go Godzilla.
Awesome, though, right? Like, isn't it so great that those opportunities exist for girls?
And just, wrestling and Kaia, you can probably speak to this a little bit as well. Wrestling in general. I mean, obviously, there's been huge.
Oh my God, when I was 19, I was hanging out at the state park on my way to the 7-Eleven to get a taquito for lunch. Like, I couldn't even imagine.
Right. And
going to work, my job is like a bar back.
Right.
Not anywhere near where these girls are mentally.
No. And of course, that's evolution, that's maturity. But you're right. And I think a lot of people get kind of caught up in that I started at 20. I'm 23 and I'm still in the same spot. I'm not on TV. It
takes time.
It takes time.
Anything takes time.
Yeah. And for the fact, like you said, your 34-year-old brain is much better suited for where you're at now than you would have been prior to. And I think that is a lot of people, they look at it and they're like, oh, well, I can do that.
Like anything you do in this world, right? Like, yes, wrestling is a very long road, but like if you choose a career, it's a long road. Like, you don't get the best shifts at if you're a nurse, for example, you don't automatically get the best shifts in the best hospital with the best pay and the best department. Like you've got to be tenured, or like,
you're right.
you know, I started out as a freelance graphic designer, and then I was a contract graphic designer, and then I was, you know, I got a couple in-house jobs, but they were like lower on the ladder. Like I did retouching, or I did basic Photoshop stuff, and then I got trusted with bigger projects, and then I worked up bigger places, and you know, then I went from being like a junior designer to a senior designer to a lead designer. It's just wrestling is the same way. You have got to like see the course through, and that was like a process that took me 8 or 9 years in my real life. It's like a real job, but like, because wrestling is a job. But it's just anything you do in this life, you have to be consistent and see through. Nothing's going to yield you immediate results. There's always going to be outliers. There's always going to be like people who are prodigies. There's always going to be someone who just gets lucky. You know? There's always going to be people who get lucky, and you can't hedge your bets on being an outlier. You need to hedge your bets on being a normie. You know? And just be consistent. I think that consistency is certainly key in anything you do in this life, whether it be wrestling, your career, or a hobby that you simply have that you want to get good at. So,
speaking of consistency, I just want to point out that behind Tony is not a pentagram. That's the Cowboys star. Yeah, that's
Go back.
He's consistent. His team has been consistent for a while now, but I don't want to
consistently bad.
I just figured I'd point that out before we start wrapping it up for Nick. But Tony, you got anything?
No, I'm just so happy to see Kaia. The last time I saw you, I got
with you guys.
Yeah, it's just so great to see you, and I'm so happy to see you happy, and so happy that
I'm happy to be happy. It's been a while, brother.
Yeah. So I'm loving to see you kill it out there. So congratulations on everything. Yeah.
Well, now you know. Now you have your podcast. We have our podcast. I think we were talking before about mixing magic. I think we need to sit down. We got you and Kevin.
A round table.
Yeah, a little open discussion thing. Sit down and chop it up for a while. Yeah, I think we can make that work. Yeah. I think we can make that happen in the future.
I'll tell you, man, podcasting's been a whole thing for me. Like, I didn't know shit about podcasting. I didn't know shit about journalism. I didn't know shit about how to interview somebody. And that's been a whole, like...
Neither do we.
Is having someone like Kevin to support me and mentor me in that space. And, like, I have learned so much about just communication and media and interviews and having questions and being researching your guests. Like, it's been really fun. But I've loved that I've learned so much doing my podcast. Pro Wrestling Illustrated podcast. Yes. So.
I'm still remembering when you were saying, just as you were saying that, I'm thinking of, wow, you came to me to set up your Discord. Like, I don't know.
No, and then I never posted in it.
Never. But do
you want to know? Okay, so like, I soon realized that there are Discords for everything that you're in.
Yes, absolutely.
And I was like, oh boy, my life is going to go in the shitter if I get really into this. Because anything that I am into, there is a Discord for it. Like, I was oh my God, there's so many Discords for the bands I like. And there's Discords for like, oh my God, there's Discords for like hockey. I love hockey. I'm an avid Capitals fan. And I'm like, oh my God, I can get the Caps Discord. And then I was like, I like Star Wars. And I was like, I really like the prequels. Oh my God, I really like. And I was like, oh my God, I could literally go down to like, there's a whole entire Discord for Captain Rex. What is this? It's insane how far the rabbit hole goes down.
Yes.
Discord, and that is why I've kind of avoided it, because I know that like I would get so caught up in Discord.
Wrestling is the
same way. Like, there's wrestling Discord, right? Like, that goes like, there's specific, like, we are a Discord and we only talk about like All Japan in the 90s, and I'm like, oh, this sounds really great. And I know that like I would just lose hours of my life.
Well, you said that. I remember when we were literally discussing, you said, I was interested in the Discord. I'm like, well, we have ours, and I sent you the link, and you joined our Nation's Corner Discord, and you come back to me, you're like, all that? I'm like, yeah, that's all. And then you're looking like, and people, she goes, oh, I'm gonna be in trouble with this.
Oh, I know. Like, you can't say I don't know myself. I mean, I knew immediately. I was like, oh, this is gonna be
But, okay.
Maybe I'll get back.
I don't want to.
In 2024.
There you go. this weather sucks.
Dude, I'm hoping it's not cold this weekend, but it's probably going to be cold and rainy because it is the Northeast in March. Like when they announced WrestleMania here, I was like, oh, that's going to be cold and rainy, but okay, go off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we can take it. Yeah. Hey, if they don't like it, stay home.
I was telling my roommate in Iowa, I was like, you should just bring Midwest clothes because it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter's coming up. This is her first Mania Week experience. She lives down in Florida. Now, she grew up here. She grew up in Jersey and then moved to Florida with her mother when she was going to school and everything. And she's like, well, I go, you grew up here. You know what the weather's like. She's like, I'm going to die. I'm like, no, just bring your hoodies that you never wear because it's Florida and leave your flip-flops at home. But she's like, I'm going to die. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Anywho, let's we could do this for hours, to be honest.
Yeah, we could. We got to wrap. I got to get ready for Mania Week.
We all have.
It's like it's 9:30. Like it's snack time for me because like I'm a night owl, so I need to go get a snack, replenish my witchy energy.
There you go. All right, so we have Thrashylvania, the Megan Thrash Memorial event. Yes. Remember, tickets are a donation. You're not buying tickets. Are. That is Saturday, 1 p.m.
12 p.m. noon at H2O in Williamstown, New Jersey.
Okay. At Matt Tremont's H2O.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get you guys the donation link so you can put that. Please put that when you post this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, we will. You can send that to me, Kaia, and I will make sure it gets right onto this.
Absolutely.
When we put it out.
And I'll see you at Blood, Sweat.
I'm going to put it right here. There's a private chat. How about that? Thrashylvania, let's go. Let's get those donations in, guys.
Yeah. This is a very cool thing, and like I said, trying to make some good out of it.
They've raised roughly $3,000 of the $5,000 goal.
Cool.
So I think for sure that we can definitely get Kevin and Megan to that $5,000 donation.
Yeah, and for those that are coming into the area and stuff, H2O is in like Kaia said, is in Williamstown. It's roughly about a 15-20 minute drive from the Philadelphia area. It's very easy to get to. You won't be. It seems very rural, but the roads to it are very direct. So by all means, we will have the link for all that in the description for this to make sure that if you can't attend in person, that you watch on IWTV and or not just throw some money for this because it's like I said, it's a very
every little bit helps, and it's such a good cause.
And it's it's sad in a way that it's being done this way, but it's like I said, something trying to make a
but
positive.
It's a celebration. Like the show is not supposed to be sad. It is supposed to be a celebration of Megan and how wonderful she was to all of us. In the wrestling world. Yeah. So let's make it a celebration and let's help them hit that $5,000 goal.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely couldn't be any more. And then again,
of course,
like Mike said, then that is what the 18th of May is Victory Pro.
No, it is April 13th.
April 13th.
Why do I have May 18th?
In 18 years. I'll see you there, Kaia.
I'll see you there
in person.
I gotta go back to the cauldron here, figure out what I'm gonna do with Tatiana. Okay. It ain't gonna be a good time.
I'm sure you can use flowers and stuff to.
It makes a good tea. It makes a good potion, I guess. I'm sure.
Well, I'm a good witch and I'm a nice witch, but I'm also a very effective witch in that ring. So I hope she's.
You could be nice and whoop ass. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been like that my whole life. All right. So this, like I said, we could do this for hours. Kaia, thank you so much. Good luck to you. Hopefully we will run into each other. I'm sure you'll be out and about in the Philly area.
Yes.
If you need anything, of course, you can always contact me. But we want to thank you for joining us here on Nation's Corner on location. Best of luck with everything in the future. And your family, you're one of us. You're welcome back here anytime. Let me know and we will absolutely sit down whenever, however, whoever.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me. I had so much fun this night.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Kaia. Thank you. All righty. That was the Good Witch, Kaia McKenna. Wow. Like I said, man, we
Conduit
could
of
spend
karma.
for hours talking with her. Yes. I guess we're just going to wrap this
That was
up.
fun.
And we will
And-
see everyone. It is Mania week.
Next time.
It is upon us. It's here. Tony's already in Jersey, like real close, maybe too close for my comfort right now. But for myself, John in South Jersey, for the greatest truck driver in the world, Tony Justice, and Mongrovian Mike, I am John in South Jersey, and we will see you all at the shows.